This is The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 here on YouTube. It is always a pleasure to record these videos, to edit them, fine-tune them, throw in a little sauce here. You know, like Ben Grimm told Irby's sauce, he said, I'm going to add a couple cloves of garlic. No, because it's not delicious, I'm going to add a little zip. That's what I like to do. I like to add a little zip. You know, because I like to put my own spin on things. Either way, okay? So, but for your listening pleasure, for your viewing pleasure, and if you like the videos that you've seen thus far, hit the like button. Share these videos with other people that you know that like comic book related stuff as much as you do. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications. Which one? All. Not personalized or the one underneath, but all, so the next time the new videos drop, you'll know about it second. I'll know about it first. One breath champ, yeah, like them forearms. Anyway, but now, you've clicked on the thumbnail, you already know what this video is about. Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow, sets July 2027 release date. So we are fast tracking Superman, as you can see. I mean, it seems to me that David Zaslav sort of took James Gunn's partial slate and he edited it. Maybe for a bigger box office, perhaps, I'm not sure. But it seems like James, now, let me be honest. I probably should have saved this for the end, but I'm just going to go now because, hey, I'm ready to go right now. Anyway, shout out to Andre 3000 and John Legend. But when I first heard the slate, I was like, there are so many obscure characters in here. It's like we got ties to major characters. We got Paradise Lost. I mean, we started off with Superman. We had Supergirl. We had Batman and Brave and Bold. But when it came to Wonder Woman, we got Paradise Lost. So basically, it's a prequel, perhaps, to the current Themyscira. So it's not exactly Wonder Woman, but it's letting us know that Wonder Woman's coming. That's what I took from it. Green Lantern, who's another major A-list player in the DC universe. Lanterns, a TV show that's based on, what did you say, Criminal Minds? So I do like the idea of a detective story, but it's like Green Lanterns, they house power. You know what I mean? Like they're powerful. Like these guys can fly into space without ships. They cover themselves in like green force fields and is able to withstand the ravages of space travel. So it's like, all right, so are they going to be stuck on the planet Earth and they're doing the investigations without the ring, without the battery, without the oath? You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, and again, Lanterns is what I want to see the most from this new partial slate. Okay, so I'm just being honest here. It's like The Flash, another A-lister, nothing. Aquaman, nothing from these major characters. So now, in fairness, the DCEU banked on Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman franchise. So maybe James Gunn just wanted to create separation so that the audience wouldn't expect Gal Gadot or expect Patty Jenkins to come back and to confuse them. Because I really think he was trying to separate the James Gunn verse from the Snyderverse. That's what I'm taking away from it. But when you see Peacemaker 2, you're like, these are the same characters from when Peacemaker Season 1 was under the umbrella of the Snyderverse. So it's almost like James Gunn is picking and choosing what he wants to put into his partial slate. So that's why the partial slate is is befuddling to me. Befuddling, the more you know. Then you talk about The Authority, which is the only thing that he mentioned in the partial slate that was a passion project was The Authority. Who are The Authority? You know as well as I do. Nothing. Now, to be fair, the villain of Superman, and then we had Lex Luthor, we had Ultraman, and we have the Engineer. The Engineer is a member of the Authority. So we got a sneak peek of her in Superman. So will that let you know who the Authority is? No, because she's an obscure character. Nobody knew who she was before Superman. We had Swamp Thing, voice crack. Swamp Thing is a more known character. But he's getting a whole movie? Swamp Thing? There's also Booster Gold. we're addressing Booster Gold before we address The Flash, before we address Wonder Woman directly, before we address Aquaman, which was $1 billion franchise under the DCEU, before we talk about the Green Lantern in a live action movie, we're hearing about Booster Gold. So, again, it was head scratching here in the partial slate. Now, I was excited for it because these are DC characters that I'm familiar with, everyone except the Authority. The Authority is from Wildstorm, the Wildstorm imprint, before they were absorbed into the DC universe. Now, if you've seen the Flashpoint Paradox, the character Grifter, the guy that had like the almost Deadpool mask with the blonde fluff of hair, and Batman, the Flashpoint Batman, who's Thomas Wayne, he said, Batman and the boy idiot Grifter. Grifter is another Wildstorm character, okay, that was absorbed into the DC universe. So we heard all these series, we heard all these movies. We didn't hear anything about 2 Superman movies, we only heard 1. So this lets me know that David Zaslav, who was the head of Warner Brothers, came to James Gunn and said, okay, I don't know how David Zaslav talks, so I'm going to make up a voice. James, I really like what you have here. Usually that's a setup for interference or for a thwarting of your plan, okay? But we really need to focus on the major DC characters. That's what I'm getting from the fact that this sequel has been fast-tracked already. And it's making me wonder, too, because Peacemaker Season 2 was not on the partial slate. The only time he mentioned Peacemaker was when he was talking about the series Waller, which has not come out, which apparently has been shelved. He said that Waller will align herself with Team Peacemaker. He didn't say Peacemaker Season 2 was coming out in the partial slate. So you can see that DC is really trying to hit the mark, and I'm not mad at them for editing the partial slate. All right, now I said all that just to get to this article. It's from Variety, okay? And for some reason, all right, I hate Variety. All the reason why I'm saying that is because this big old ad came up that I couldn't even get past. So Variety is the website. The authors are Matt Donnelly and Adam B. Vary. I think we did an article by Adam B. Vary before, all right? So there's a picture of David Corenswet too in the Superman outfit, looking pretty dapper, all right? And I will be posting that either here or here. Never know. David Corenswet will dust off his red trunks soon as a sequel to James Gunn's summer hit Superman will fly into theaters in less than 2 years. Let's pause. Director and DC Films co-head James Gunn took to social media on Wednesday to announce an official title and release date for the project. Superman Man of Tomorrow will hit theaters on July 9th, 2027. Now, I've heard that James Gunn is trying to establish a Superman family. So in 2026, we're getting Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And now in 2027, we're getting Superman, Man of Tomorrow. I'll continue reading. In his announcement, Gunn included a comic book image of Superman standing next to Lex Luthor in his war suit. Interesting. A pretty clear signal that the sequel will continue to focus on Luthor's antipathy for the Man of Steel. Interesting word. In the DC Comics, Luthor, played by Nicholas Hoult in the film, creates the suit in order to match Superman's strength and abilities. It seems that after the failure of his plan to use a clone of Superman to defeat him in Gunn's first film, Luthor has decided that he needs to cut out the middleman and get the job done himself. Alright, I'm sorry I have to keep interrupting, but usually I don't remember what I want to say at the end of the article. Don't they feel like they did a little too much with the Hammer of Baravia, sending Superman flying all the way to the South Pole with his tail tucked between his legs, with a battery of internal injuries that we've never seen before? Didn't the Hammer of Baravia already do that? And see, that's why it befuddles me that the Hammer of Baravia was never introduced in the movie again. We saw him beat Superman twice. Well, we didn't see the first one. We saw the second one where he just clobbered him. So the Hammer of Baravia character is kind of still out there, or maybe that's what Lex is basing his new war suit off of, but you don't have a Superman clone inside the suit. So why are we going suit versus soups again? Hashtag suit versus soups. Can we do a different villain this time? Like, can Lex Luthor at least stay in jail for at least 3 years so we can get somebody else? Yeah. And I love Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. But come on. You already washed Superman at the beginning of his movie, in the beginning of the DCU. Now Lex Luthor want another suit. Come on, couldn't this wait? I'll continue. In August, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav personally announced that Gunn would return to write and direct the follow-up to the character's Full Stop creative reboot. So this is David Zaslav taking the helm, or taking the reins, whatever, either way. The film earned more than $611 million at the worldwide box office this summer, making it the highest-grossing superhero film of the year. Great job, James Gunn. You did it. I have issues with the tone of the movie, but this was fantastic, okay? Man of Tomorrow will follow the 2026 releases of the outer space set Supergirl, directed by Craig Gillespie, written by Anna Nogueira, and starring Millie Alcock. They spelled her name wrong. Okay. And the body horror film Clayface, directed by James Watkins, written by Mike Flanagan and Hossein Amini, and starring Tom Rhys-Harris and Naomi Ackie. I don't know any of those people. The accelerated schedule also means the Superman sequel will debut before Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2, which is currently slated to open on October 1st, 2027. Interesting. It seems like there's a little bit of maybe politics going on here. Like Matt Reeves is coming October 1st, 2027. James Gunn says, guess what? We're going to beat Matt Reeves to the punch and bring out the sequel to Superman July 9th, which will be before October 1st of the same year. So a little one-upsmanship here, it seems like. And there's a great picture of James Gunn's tweet with Superman standing next to Lex Luthor in his war suit, which looks pretty good. All right, so that's the end of the article. As I've said during the reading of this article, David Zaslav put the brakes on things. I don't know if David Zaslav is as invested in Matt Reeves' Batman not succeeding, but clearly James Gunn doesn't want it to succeed because it's silly to have two Batman continuities in the same universe. That doesn't make any sense. Because you can say Elseworlds, but people will still be like, wait, we already saw Batman. So when Batman the Brave and the Bold comes out, you'll be like, wait, this ain't Robert Pattinson. So confusion aplenty. Amok being ran. The term is usually run amok, but amok is running here. So I'm sorry, there's a helicopter outside. I don't know if they're looking for stragglers from the negative zone or what. Anyway, hopefully you can hear me over the propellers and the engines. But the sequel to Superman being Man of Tomorrow, that's a classic Superman title, Man of Tomorrow, Superman, Man of Tomorrow. So I do like that. I don't like the idea of Lex Luthor returning as the big bad. Because we're trying to expand the DC universe. So if we're stuck on Superman versus Lex, doesn't that rob other characters of the opportunity to shine? I mean, with all the characters that they threw into the first movie, threw in Mr. Terrific, threw in Hawkgirl, threw in Green Lantern, threw in Metamorpho, threw in his son, Joey, threw in the Raptors, threw in Crypto, threw in Supergirl. Where are we going with the sequel? Like, wouldn't it just be more beneficial to have Superman to be the only hero? Oh, they also threw in a cameo from Peacemaker in Superman. Like, we know these other DC heroes are in the continuity. We already know this. We know this is not a rookie Superman. It's an established Superman who's been around for 3 years. So I really feel like a different antagonist should be here. And it don't even have to be an A-lister, just something that pushes the Gods and Monsters story that's supposed to be connecting all the series and movies together, that pushes that continuity forward. Like, you don't even need a B-lister. Like, You just have to tell a great story with Superman being the primary protagonist, without the Justice Gang, without Max Lord's group, so we can focus on Superman. And he don't have to have that nerfing 83% that he had for the entire movie for some reason. He was 83% when he left the Fortress of Solitude, and he never really made it up to full power. We started the movie with him crashing and burning in Antarctica, where the Fortress of Solitude is. He got healed. We ended the movie with him at the Fortress of Solitude being healed again. So can we get a powerful Superman this time? Without all these little side characters? Like, I want the Daily Bugle crew. Not Daily Bugle. The Daily Planet crew there. I want Perry White to do something in this movie. I want Snapper Carr to do something in this movie. I want Cat Grant to do something in the movie. Is that too much to ask? I don't think it is. Now, those are my thoughts on the fast tracking of the Superman sequel called Superman Man of Tomorrow, which is scheduled to be released in theaters July 9th, 2027. So we're getting it pretty soon. Less than 2 years away, okay? So James Gunn will be writing it again. He'll be directing it again. What are your thoughts to James Gunn writing and directing the sequel? Say what you want to say. Put it in the comment section. Be as wordy as you need to be. Write a dissertation if necessary. Dissertations can be like 10 plus pages. Maybe there's enough space to write a dissertation in the comment section. I never even stopped to think about it. But if you're not sure where those comments go, David Brent, I brought him along to let you know. Thank you, Mr. Brent. Wernham Hall's finest, The Office UK. Do your part, I'll do my part. So The Great Expanse by John Bat 426. Let's try that again. Do your part, I'll do my part. So The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 can and will expand is in the name.